I'm not leaving, that's impossible to do. You gotta be cooking the way you do. You gotta be hooking me. If you want me to go, send my shop, we can just so.
Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Nisi B. Nisi B, baby. Don't forget that baby. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh, that's my phone. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Today our video is going to be all about finding your tribe, how to find your tribe, the importance of finding your tribe when living, teaching, studying, even traveling abroad. Just the importance of finding that group of people or groups, which I'll explain, people who you can relate to, who you can feel comfortable with, and who will be supporting you and cheering for you and all of that fun stuff. I want to suggest that you hit that subscribe button down below, you know, the little red one right there. Hit the bell button for notifications, as well as follow me on my social media, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Here's the thing, this is why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because these are my last couple career videos before I take off and go back to Canada. For those of you guys who don't know, I am leaving in honestly 2-ish weeks, and so I just want to share my little nuggets. This is more about the socializing aspect, the life aspect, because honestly when you move abroad you have to remember, like, you're picking yourself up and you're moving, you're leaving your friends behind, you're leaving your family behind, and yeah, you'll talk to them via WhatsApp and stuff, but then you have to make new well, you don't have to, but if you don't want to go crazy, you need to make new connections. You need to have people to talk to, and so that's what I'm here to just talk to you about. So this video was pretty much inspired by, or it became quite necessary when I was in one of the many Facebook groups that I'm a part of. One of the members of the group posted this. I did ask for permission to use this before anybody in that group sees this and tries to report me. Okay, so y'all know how we have times where we just want to be around our own and just like bask in other black people's presence here. I've been having those moments a lot, and when I go to hang out with my other black friends, sometimes a Korean friend or two want to tag along, and I strongly tell them no, it's strictly for us hanging out. So the other day my Korean friend asked my weekend plans, and I said I was getting together with a few of my friends, all black girls, and he wanted to join us, which I immediately shut down because, like, I don't know, I just want to be around my people just for a bit. Then he pointed out that excluding any other friends based on race is prejudice. And now he's got me thinking, like, damn, did Korea make me subtly racist? Wow, subtly racist. Why am I having so hard time with this word today? Thoughts and suggestions? And then there are 51 comments and like a whole bunch of likes, loves, and thumbs up and all that fun stuff. I find that this conversation right here is really important to have. First of all, if I tell you my weekend plans because you ask and I don't outwardly invite you, you are not invited. I don't even need to tell you why or where or who I'm going with. When this man was trying to tag along, it could have never been me. I would have been like, no, you can't come. Because I want to hang out with my friends, period. There's no because I want to hang out with my friend and, you know what I mean? And that's when the light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, I need to make a video about this. I need to make a video about the importance of having your own tribe of people that you can go to for comforts, for just advice, just to relate to. Because those people will be the difference between you going up and over that wall and you being a very sane person. Because let's face it, I've lived in South Korea for 3 years. But I can tell you right now that if it hadn't been for those breaks, mostly on my weekends, where I'm able to connect with people that I feel comfortable connecting with, I probably would have gone home earlier. You know what I mean? And also just jumped off the nearest bridge. You know, one of the two. But essentially, they kept me grounded, they kept me sane, they kept me comfortable. You know what I mean? The way to explain these things to you, let's go through one by one and just pretty much give you examples from my own life. So the first thing I have on my list is a sense of comfort. So I'm a planner, okay? So when I am preparing to come places, I start mentally preparing myself for what I'm going to come into. Okay, who am I going to be around? Obviously Korean people, but who else? And in my mind, silly me, I was like, well, there's probably going to be a lot of white people. And for you guys, so those of you who don't know, I didn't grow up around a lot of white people. There were like 2 or 3 token white people in my area. So now that I'm meant to prepare myself for that, now when I get on the plane and I get to Korea, that's what I expect to see. I honestly expected to see like maybe 1 or 2 other black people, but that was that. So I get to Korea now, and My roommate is Korean American. Love her to death. She's super dope. We're still cool to this day. And you know, she was cute and I was like, okay, she's my buddy, she's my pal, that's fine. As we're going through orientation, I ended up hanging out with her, and you know, we're hanging out with a lot of white people. Okay, check. That was on my list of things that I knew were going to happen, so I tried to mentally prepare myself. But I found it extremely hard to relate to these people. Surprise, surprise. I didn't grow up in an area with a lot of white people. I grew up in an area with a lot of Caribbean people. Indian, Tamil, Somali, Filipino. Like, these are the people I was used to seeing around. These are people I was used to interact with. People of color. I wasn't used to interacting with white people. It was, oddly enough, a lot of white guys. Honestly, it was just cool, but it was kind of like they were all feeding for the one girl, for my friend. Legitimately, if we're in a group of 8 guys, maybe 3 or 4 liked her. And so it was kind of like, I was just like, okay, tagging along, token black girl. At orientation, there were at least 4 or 5 other black people. Yeah, I can count how many black people there were. Even one of my friends to this day, like one of my good friends that I came into the program with, she was like, yeah, I was kind of like, is she one of those girls? And I was like, girl, no. I was sitting down here and like the black guy, get out. I was just like, somebody help me. I don't know what to do. Pretty much end up coming to Daegu and still was hanging out with the same group. A couple things were brought to my attention while I was hanging out with them. One, they operate at a completely different level than black people do, I'm gonna be completely honest, or people that I know. They leave their friends out on road. By that I mean, if their friend is drunk off their ass, they'll leave them before they take them home. They'll leave them. With me, that's not how that works. Even the scene wasn't for me. Like, that's not their fault. Like, they have their style. But me, I like to turn up. I like to be around other melanated people. So that didn't work out either. And then the last thing that I really didn't like was one night we were at a Noibang and one of the guys was rapping a 50 Cent song. And he said nigga multiple times. Nobody stopped him. Everyone just stopped, looked really uncomfortable, and glanced at me. And I'm like, you guys want me to reel your friend in so I can be the angry black woman? And that day exactly right there was the day I realized these people are not my people. I need to skedaddle and go and actually talk to people that I can relate to. And obviously I have a couple white friends here and there, but I'm gonna be honest, for me personally, that's not my group of choice because I can't relate, you know? And also another thing that I had an issue with, it was like a really big thing for me. I was having a harder time adjusting than they were. Because in Korea, white people are held up here, well, I can't even show you, up there all the way to the ceiling. When, you know, I'm uncomfortable because I'm in my first month and I'm stared at everywhere I go, and I try to complain about it and they're just like, oh, you know, it is what it is. You know, they've never seen a black person before, so you have to give them that. Like, I don't like that. Like, I like being able to speak to my fellow black people, the ones with common sense, because some black people do say the same shit. I like to speak to my fellow people and be like, listen, this happened to me. Be like, yeah, you know, that same shit happened to me. Like, and like, you know, then we can have that dialogue. And that's what I mean by being comfortable. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm a burden. I don't want to feel like I'm always complaining. But it was my first month in Korea, and like I wasn't comfortable, and they weren't understanding my discomfort. I'm not saying your tribe has to be the same color as you. I'm not saying your tribe has to be from the same background or even the same country as you, because believe me, a lot of my friends are American, but that's another topic. It's just finding people that can empathize with you, finding people that understand you, finding people that respect you, and stuff like that. And I wasn't getting much of that from that group. They aren't bad people by any means, but you know, they were doing a lot of things that I was like, I wasn't raised around this and I'm not comfortable. The next thing is familiar culture. Now, obviously working in Korea, when you are a teacher here and you live in the general public, like, you know, you live out in Korea and you get up in the morning and you walk past your neighbor's Korean, you go down the stairs, you go to work, you see all Korean people. Most of the people don't speak English in the building, which isn't a problem. When you see all of that day in and day out for 5 days out of the week, you're going to want to spend 2 recuperating, speaking to other English speakers, being around people that you don't have to slow down and speak to, as I was saying before, being around people who understand your jokes, being around people who understand your cultural references. That kind of stuff is a relief. That's why I encourage breaks. For me, I would feel exhausted, mentally exhausted, having to always be around Korean people. And it sounds weird because you moved to their country. Hello, hi. And I get that 100%. That's why I can't complain about living here necessarily. I can complain about certain aspects, but I can't complain about it because it's a blessing anyways. As much as you are in their country, which is correct and you should respect it, you're allowed to feel that way and you're allowed to feel comfortable, make you feel like you can relate. Now, on the note of culture, this is where it comes in, because as I told you, I went from hanging out with white people to hanging out with my fellow melanated people. When I made that shift, I didn't make that shift to fellow Canadians. I made that shift to Americans, which is cool. Other people don't realize how different Canadians and Americans are, but Americans, I love them. Did I tell you that most of my family lives in the States? The thing about Americans is they're taught that the world revolves around them. And being Canadian, it was a little difficult for me to adjust. You know, I'd get weird comments. They would be like, black people live in Canada? I didn't know there were black people in Canada. In my head, I'm like, are you, like, what? For example, what is not a word. It's a word in my vocabulary, but it's not a word I use if I can't hear you. My initial response is pardon me. And let me tell you, that tickles Americans. If you want to tickle an American person, you say pardon, they're going to be like, what? What'd she say? What? And it's like, oh. There are often times where I don't want to have to adjust my speech, saying stuff like pop as opposed to soda. I know some Americans do say pop, but a lot of Americans say soda. So if I say, oh, can I get that pop? There's a roast session. I enjoy meeting American people 100%, and I enjoy being friends with them, but sometimes I need someone from Toronto. Or if you even want to knock it one notch up, I need a Caribbean person. But essentially what I'm saying is I enjoy being around other Canadians as well, specifically people from Toronto. Like when I'm on the phone, my friends are like, yo, listen, yo, I'm cheesed. Like I'm going in. And that's the kind of comfort I enjoy. And cultural familiarity. That's why I created the Caribbeans and Korean group, because it was getting to a point where like, I just want to be around other Caribbean people. I just wanted people to understand where I was coming from. I wanted people to understand the songs I was listening to. I wanted people to understand the references. I just wanted to be familiar with the culture that I was around. And boom, like we have like almost 500 members now. And that's within Korea. Can you believe that? 500, almost 500 Caribbean people. I feel like I should give you guys tips on how to kind of navigate yourselves and how to get yourselves to this point where you find your tribe. You should be able to find people you can relate to, people who will support you, people who you can just relax around and be yourself around. That's my idea of a tribe. Ways that you can go about doing that is just, you really have to put yourself out there. A lot of us use Facebook. You join Facebook groups. For example, find a diverse group of people. For women, you can join expat women in Korea. A lot of cities have groups dedicated to them as well. I know Daegu has Women of Daegu, which isn't a bad group whatsoever. I find a lot of information in there. Brothers and Sisters of South Korea. And that's not saying that only black people can join or people of color can join. Anyone can join Brothers and Sisters in South Korea, but you just have to be very aware of the space you're stepping into and learn to respect it. Another group that I would definitely suggest, Black Women in Korea. It's a newer group, but it's pretty nice. They set up meetups and everything, so that's a really good group to be a part of. Of course, I'm going to promote my group, Bop, Caribbeans in Korea. That's another group that you can definitely join, Caribbeans in Korea. I know there's like singles groups, relationship groups, all that stuff is here, but I'm not a part of those groups. So I definitely say join Facebook groups. When people put on events, go to them. You will not make friends sitting at home. Well, you can make friends sitting at home online, but you won't be able to physically interact with people unless you get up and you go. Even if there isn't a group, you can make one, and people will probably join. People have the same interests. But just be very aware of who you're surrounding yourself with, because people may seem authentic when you meet them, but as you get to know them, they become very inauthentic, or you realize that, you know, we're not meshing. And it's always okay to just say no and walk away from situations like that. But I think that's pretty much it. So all I'm saying is, when you come abroad, don't feel like you can't walk away from the locals for a little bit and find people that you can relate to. Don't ever feel like you have to talk to Korean people and only have Korean friends. If that's your flex, then 100% this is a place to do it. But if you want to hang out with people outside of Korean people, don't feel bad about it, and don't let anybody make you feel bad about it. No, you're not racist. No, you're not prejudiced. You're doing it for your own mental health. This is your body's way of telling you, I need a break. Let's go find some people that we can relate to. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it brought things together for you. And I hope that when you come here, that you do find your tribe. Down below in the comment section, make sure you let me know, what is one quality that your tribe needs to have. So that's pretty much it for today. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And as always, it's a peace, and it's a love, and it's a annyeong. Oh my god, I dropped something. Annyeong.
I'm feeling all this, she already know this. She want a bad man to come and video this. I'm feeling all this, she already know this. She want a bad man to come and video this. You want murder me, eh, 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 eh.